want to turn now to a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee who is both a former prosecutor and the former Attorney General for the state of California, uniquely positioned to comment on today's events. Democratic Senator and presidential candidate Kamala Harris joins me now. Senator, your broad takeaway reaction to what you have or haven't, I don't know how much you've gotten to read today. You're a very busy person, but your reaction to the report.
Well, my reaction begins with the first events of this morning, which were that press conference. And, you know, as a former Attorney General, I ran, Chris, the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, the California Department of Justice, second only to the United States Department of Justice. And I take seriously, as I know most prosecutors do, the responsibility that we have to be impartial and to do the work of justice and do it on behalf of the people. And that means understanding, in this case, and General Barr, which I believe failed to understand, that he is not the president's personal lawyer. He represents us, the American public. But what we saw today was a display of anything but impartiality. What we saw was a display of I think, partisanship. And he might as well have been in the White House press conference room as the spokesperson for the president when he introduced the subject of today's discussions. You know, Thomas Jefferson is quoted on the front page of the Department of Justice's website talking about the importance of impartiality and the importance of the integrity of our justice system. And so one of my big takeaways from today is that there has been a great disservice done to what is otherwise a source of pride for us as a democracy, which is the integrity of our justice system. I think that our justice system and the integrity of that justice system took a real blow today with the presentation of General Barr and also his 4-page summary weeks ago.
Well, part of that 4-page summary was the Attorney General stepping in to reach a conclusion on obstruction. It's clear from the report that was not what the report does, right? It sort of leaves it open, and it says this. Page 22 of the report, I'll read you this, and I want to get your response as a member of the United States Congress. The conclusion that Congress may apply the obstruction laws to the president's corrupt exercise of the powers of office accords with our constitutional system of checks and balances and the principle that no person is above the law. What do you see as Congress's role in light of this report?
Well, Congress has many roles, but first and foremost, the role of oversight. And I'm looking forward to General Barr coming before the Judiciary Committee. I think that's been scheduled for May 1st. I strongly believe that also Bob Mueller should be requested to come before Congress and testify about the process of that investigation and share with us the underlying facts that support his summary. Because we have a responsibility as an independent, co-equal branch of government, the United States Congress, to make sure that the American public is receiving justice and fairness through this process.
I want to read you something Steny Hoyer, who's the number 2 in the House, a colleague of yours, a Democrat on the other side of the Capitol, had to say. He said this today. Based on what we have seen to date, going forward on impeachment is not worthwhile at this point. Very frankly, there's an election in 18 months. The American people will make a judgment. Do you agree with him?
Well, I think that there's definitely a conversation to be had on that subject. But first, I want to hear from Bob Mueller and really understand what exactly is the evidence that supports the summary that we have been given today.
What is your understanding of this president's execution of his oath of office and his relationship to the law based on what we have learned publicly and what is contained in the report today?
I think that this president has not fulfilled the responsibility of the president of the United States to use his position in a way that is about elevating public discourse, in a way that is about projecting the values and priorities of us as a nation. We have seen incredible acts of self-service, but very few acts that have been in the interest of public service from this president. And I think he's a grave disappointment.
Finally, I guess a question of how you see this. Obviously, you've decided to run for president. Should you win, you would have the role this president has. How does this inform how you think about the campaign in terms of how central you see the president's actions here to the case you're making to the American people and how you would conduct yourself in office?
You know, Chris, I'll tell you, I was actually talking with my team about it, and one of the things that I think is critically important is that we elevate public discourse and really have a conversation that is about the ideals and the goals and the values of who we are as a country. And so part of how I think about what we have just witnessed is that we have a lot to do to restore the importance of truth and justice in our country. It's taken a real beating. And when I think about what we need to do going forward, any of us as leaders, whether one is running for president of the United States or not, any member of Congress, we have got to acknowledge the truth that right now there are a lot of Americans who are extremely distrustful of our government, its institutions, and leaders. And there's a lot of work to do to restore that trust. What we have seen in the last, today, and then frankly in the last 2 years and some months, has, I think, done real harm to the importance of the American public and our allies around the world trusting us, and that we will always defend concepts of justice and democracy.
All right, Senator Kamala Harris of California, thank you so much on a very busy day for making time.
Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.